Hello. We are live for today's edition of the Xander Gibb Show. We're just sharing the show on all the channels and etc., making sure we're going out live. If you have just joined us, we are in pre-production mode for the Xander Gibb Show. Got some great guests for you tonight. I love how unflattering the pic that it captures to show you the show is. It's always kind of, what's the word for it? Not very flattering or photogenic, to say the least. Right, let's go to the page. I am Xander Gibb, by the way, and you are watching what will soon be the Xander Gibb Show. Hi, Janie. Welcome to the live feed. And hi to Dave. I will get around to saying hello to everybody individually. Shut up, Xander. When I have shared all the links and stuff, let's just get the YouTube link so I can share for those of you that like to watch on the big screen TV. Though why you would want to do that today and see my pores, or whatever they're called, not pause, pores, I do not know. Where are we? So we're just getting the link for YouTube. I'm cooking. I have a chicken in the oven. So the house is pretty hot. Have you noticed that? Even if you have an extractor fan, you end up with a really hot house, which is nice on a cold day, but when it's a little humid, it's like my hair goes into this huge frizz ball of a thing. Here we go. We are getting ready to go live. We just shared on Parla. I don't know if you guys are actually on Parla. I don't feel very impressed with it right now, but maybe it will impress me further in the future. Let's just share this YouTube link on here. We have some great guests for you tonight. Tell you a little bit more about that in a mere moment. Did that work? Yes, it did. Right, that's that. I am with you on the live feed. Janie said, won't be too much typing. Mess with my neck and shoulder on the left side. Sneezing my roof off. I'm sorry about that. I'm pretty allergy-ish myself today. It blocks you up and, you know, all of those things. Hate it. Hate it with vengeance. Yeah, I'm not very impressed with Parler. Why is it not letting me share that? Okay, let's see if we can do it this way. I'm just sharing to a few Facebook pages. Please feel free to do so too. Yes. So we're just sharing to a few pages, making sure I don't share to anywhere that I'm not supposed to share to. And now my eye is playing me up with the fan, which is rather typical. Hi Nick, welcome to the live feed. Hope you're good. Have a banana split from Baskin & Robbins, have you, Dave? I hope you're sharing. I had dessert yesterday when I went to, where was it I went to? I went for lunch with my sister. And so I had a dessert, like some fruit and custard and stuff like that. Where are we? Got to concentrate a little now so that I don't share to groups that will beat me up for sharing erroneously. Yes, I can share in there. I think that is about it. Yes, we're nearly there. We are there. So, without further ado, hi guys, I will come and say hello to you on the other side, but for now we're going to go into the opening titles in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It has been good to me this time around. Things were bound to change when it was found. Sugar never tasted sweeter on my lips. My heart is now intact and I can find no ribs. This is love, yeah, love. Never known true love before. Seen so many counterfeits that left me on the floor. This is love, yeah, love. All will come to those who wait. Time it cannot know the bounds, and eras don't dictate.
Well, hello, welcome to today's edition of the Xander Gibb Show, the talk show that really does get you talking on the Xandermonium Network, live from an undisclosed location, and no, it's not your mother's basement, on the Xandermonium Network, bringing you the best in Patriot broadcasting 5 nights a week. Well, for the moment, I'm Xander Gibb, and on tonight's edition, I get on my soapbox and give you the opportunity to get on ours too. Yours too in our phone in. I don't know what an opportunity is, but you'll be getting it. Oliver Watman drops by, and in part 2, we break down today's hottest topics with Tammy Messina from the Joe Messina Show. You can have your say in the live feed below, and as usual, I'll be sharing your comments as we go. You can follow me on social media, and you can check me out at xandergibb.com. Oh, yes, you can. Let's come to the live feed and say hello to everybody therein. Let's go backwards. Where are we? The mouse is giving me grief. Hello to Janie. Hello to Dave. Hello to Chet. Hello to Nick. Hello to Maria. Welcome to the show. Hello to Annie. Welcome to the show. Hello to, who else is there? Carla, welcome. Hello to, I think that's everybody who's in the live feed. But welcome to everyone who is watching and not in the live feed. Do come and join us. We don't bite. I do promise you that will not happen. You will not get bitten. We do observe social distancing. We don't observe social distancing. You can give everybody a hug if you like, but we do observe civil discourse. Okay, so we're going to go into Xander's news of the day. Oprah Winfrey, I can't talk today. Oprah Winfrey is partnering with Lionsgate to turn the New York Times 1619 project into feature films and television programs. Now, the 1619 project is a series of essays and multimedia creations by the New York Times and one of their leading writers, Nicole Hannah-Jones. The purpose of the project is to reframe American history by claiming that America's founding is based on racism instead of equality and liberty. Hannah-Jones' goal in creating the project was to show how slavery and racism have had a lasting effect on all of America's institutions and decisions. Maybe the first questions they need to ask are, why a racist America kept Oprah at the top for so long and elected a blackish president twice? Let me know what you think about that. A transcript of the body cams from the police who arrested George Floyd revealed this week that he was saying he couldn't breathe even before he was arrested. The plot thickens. Do you think this will make any difference to the outcomes or what's actually happened or what is going to happen? As many as 8,000 Californian prisoners could be released ahead of schedule in an unprecedented attempt to stop the spread of COVID-19 inside state prisons, with more than half of the releases expected by the end of the month. Now, the announcement on Friday by top advisors to Governor Gavin Newsom offered stark evidence of the dire health conditions at several prisons. The total number of prisoners at the facilities for men and women has already been reduced by thousands since Newsom's declared a statewide emergency in response to the coronavirus. So why can't they just be provided with masks and PPE if they are so effective? Let us know what you feel about that too. And finally, Mayor Lori Lightfoot must think people in her city and the rest of the nation are fools, because Chicago has had an incredibly high crime rate for longer than President Trump has been in politics, and now she's blaming him for the increasing crime, and that's insane. To blame it on Indiana is equally insane. And Laurie has been misrepresenting the state's gun laws. Further, a much more likely cause is decades of Democrat rule in Chicago and her instigation of the support of Black Lives Matter, anti-police protests, and rioting. In other news, I stubbed my toe this morning in the shower, and it really hurt. Damn that President Trump! And that was Xander's news of the day. If you want to come on and talk to us and get on your soapbox, you can do that. You can go to xandergibb.com/contact. That's xandergibb.com/contact. Tell us what you think. Tell us what's pissing you off. And come and get on your soapbox. We've got time for a couple of calls. If you're in the United States, hi CV, welcome to the show. You can call us on 845-363-4747. That's 845-363-4747. Damn that Donald Trump. And if you're in the UK, you can call us on 0208-133-5274. That's 845-363-4747. If you're in the United States, and if you're in the UK, 0208-133-5274. Hello, Tammy. Welcome to the live feed. Hello to everybody else who has joined us. Nick says slavery wasn't as profound as they claim it was, but they do milk that for all they can, even claiming blacks built America. I thought it was the Egyptians myself. Oh, wait, that was the pyramids. You see, if everybody else can kind of mix up history and change it, and wasn't it Mickey Mouse who freed the slaves? I just can't remember. I'm just so confused with all of these historical changes. Carlos says, there goes the crime rates. CV says, what is what it was? Okay. Welcome to Alan. Welcome to the live feed. Our phone lines are open. We've got time for a couple of calls. 0208-133-5274 if you are in the United Kingdom. But if you're in the United States, you can call us on 845-363-4747. That's 845-363-4747 if you are in the United States. We have our first call of the day. Welcome to the Xander Gibb Show. What's your name and where are you calling from, Chet?
Yes, it is, Xander. Yes, it is.
How are you, sir?
I'm good. Did you see the news with Chrissy Teigen?
You mean that she was on the Lolita Express flight manifesto?
Yeah,
yeah.
She is, and apparently her husband may have been using a unidentified alias name as well. So
really?
We're going to have to kind of watch this one to see where the dominoes fall. And the reason I'm bringing it up is because I really loathe those two people.
Yeah,
I think they're just some of the most disgusting people, especially when they espouse all their hatred on Trump supporters and call us racists and, you know, like we should really care about these Hollywood opinions.
Right.
Because I don't. But it's good to see that they're such dirtbags. I kind of already expected it.
Yeah, absolutely. Me too. And you know, the interesting thing is those that attack the president the loudest seem to be the ones with the most to hide. And that kind of That speaks volumes to me. Now, I want to know if they were on that flight pre-marriage or post-marriage, because that would explain a lot too, I think, don't you?
It would, and it's a good point that you make. The people that scream the loudest about Trump, I think there's a lot of skeletons in those closets. I mean, when we're talking about somebody like De Niro and Hanks and all these other scumbags that we already kind of knew that these people were depraved. But if they're going to a place called Pedophile Island over 4 times in a month like Bill Clinton did, I don't think he was going there to play Parcheesi and go scuba diving.
Right.
Man. I don't think so.
And the other interesting thing about all of this for me is that people are flaunting pictures out there of the president with Ghislaine Maxwell, but there are pictures out there of her with lots of people because she was a society party girl. So that I don't know. I'm hoping none of the pictures of her and I kind of come up. No, I'm joking. There are no pictures of me with her, but you kind of get the point. But the thing is that I keep reverting to this. When you look at President Donald Trump's record over the past 3 to 4 years, he's done more to stop human trafficking with the building of the wall than any president ever. So, the claims and the assertions, his name is not even on the manifest. And let's face it, if he'd been there, they would have dug this up by now.
The numbers, like you said, with the sex trafficking industry are astounding. If you look at President Trump's numbers on breaking down these rings of traffickers, which, those are the people that get sold to the cartels and they get brought over by a coyote, and some of the young girls raped, and a lot of them end up getting killed, and they give all their money to try to get here in America. Yeah. And, there's a good reason for that, because they want to be here because it's the greatest country on the face of the earth, despite what Black Lives Matter or Antifa tell you. Go ask them sometime. But the numbers, Xander, like you said, in 3 years under President Trump, there's already triple the arrests made under Barack Obama's complete 8 years. There has to be a reason, and I don't think it's just because of the good deeds of President Trump. I also think it's because of the bad deeds of Barack Obama. Oh,
absolutely. And I have to pull you up on a point there, Chet. I don't think it was Coyote that brought them in. I think it was Wayfair, because the shipping was free. And I know I probably shouldn't be joking about things like that, but it really does show you how deep the hole goes with all of this, and how many people are involved with this kind of thing that's going on. And I don't know, the thing that concerns me the most, I'm not making light of the fact that this happens to adults, but this is happening to children. I mean, you're a parent. If you didn't know where your kids were for 5 minutes, you'd be kicking up a stink, wouldn't you? Let's face it.
Oh, absolutely, and that's why they want to keep the southern borders open and pumping through drugs, and human trafficking with the prostitutes and the young girls, like you said. And it's a horrible thing to actually witness, but it's even more horrible to think that there are politicians, Hollywooders, and just some of these upper echelons and socialists and all that are really making money off of this whole thing.
Oh, of course.
And you know what? I never really thought about this. I reposted it. It's a post about Woody Allen. America watched Woody Allen adopt a little Asian girl, raise her, and then marry her. Basically, what we watched unfold in front of our eyes was blatant pedophilia.
Yeah, I'll go on better for you, Chet. Mia Farrow, who is this supposed humanist, who keeps attacking President Trump on social media about ridiculous things, she let that go on under her eyes. Don't tell me she didn't know that was going on. The woman is terrible. She beat her child, Moses Farrow, her adopted child, and he doesn't have anything to do with her anymore. He even wrote a book about it. So what kind of mother does that make you if you're letting your your husband go off with and have sex with your adopted children. Because don't tell me that didn't start before she left home.
And her son is actually a Trump supporter. I don't know if you knew that or not. He's an upstanding, by all accounts, an upstanding individual. Of course, she knew what was going on in her own home.
Yeah.
She claims she didn't. But, these liberals, they're just very sick people.
They are.
When you think about what it is, they don't value children just like they don't value the life in the womb. They don't value life from the get. They're starting to put into motion these bills that they can place in so that you can just kill the baby. Even if it survived an abortion, they can just leave it on a table and let it die.
Yeah.
What kind of monster is that? That's a pretty bad monster.
That's murder. But when you think about this is why I have such a problem with state laws and federal laws, because a state can decide to actually legalize the killing of a child when it's viable outside of the room, and federal law needs to trump that. No pun intended. It really does. Hi, Lee. Welcome to the life feed.
I mean, in my opinion, a life is a life when it's conceived.
Yeah, exactly.
But for the Democrats' sake of argument, they always said, well, it's when I was a kid, this is how it was. When it's in the womb, it's not a life, and that's what their thought was. Now, it's even if it has a heartbeat 9 months into its third trimester, it's just a clump of cells. It's not. It's a fully developed human.
Absolutely.
Just absolutely sick.
I mean, even when I was a Democrat, I was, I used to get a lot hassle about being told not to comment on abortion because, it wasn't my business, because of women's supposed rights. But, Dr. Gina Loudon quite rightly pointed out that male fetuses are aborted every single day. So men do have a right to have an opinion on abortion. Hi, Russ. Welcome to the live feed. So I will continue to speak out against this and other things that are uncomfortable. But I want to just talk to you about one other thing quickly before you go, Chet. Are you finding right now that I'm getting really attacked right now on the live feed, not this second, but by people who are supposedly conservative. So these leftists are infiltrating our group, and they're coming on and commenting and making comments about my appearance. I mean, I really don't care. But are you seeing this too, that the left are infiltrating our groups and actually trying to cause discord?
Yeah, I think what you have to watch out for, it happens both ways, to be honest with you. I'm sure it happens on their side as well.
Right.
But what you have to look out for is a lot of people on the left are creating groups. They are creating Trump groups and then sucking people in and then being able to go throughout and see all the other groups that they can get their Weasley noses into. You just you have to look out for it. When you see it, you tell the admin, and hopefully the admin takes them off. I mean, that's the only thing that I could, but I've done it myself, and they don't do anything about it. It's it's crazy to me. If it's supposed to be a group about President Trump and supporting him, then we shouldn't have people on there harassing the members.
Absolutely. And here's the thing for me. I really don't care if people agree or disagree with my opinion. I'm here to make a difference. But when all people have is to comment on your appearance, then you've won right away. We gotta leave it there. But tell people where they can find you. I'm sure but Chet is the host of Freedom on Deck, which goes out Sundays 3 to 5 on. Tell them. Go on.
94.9 News Now, Stimulating Talk. WJJF.
WJJF forever.
Anything you want to find out about me, CV, Brian, it gives you our blood type, the whole nine on freedomondeck.com.
Yeah. The calendar is coming in 2021, isn't it? The Freedom on Deck calendar.
Yeah, we're all dressing up as police officers.
Yeah,
That's
for
what
sure.
I would do.
Blue,
to support them. But
Blue Lives
seriously,
Matter,
God
Goat
bless our
Lives
police.
Matter. Thank you so much, Chet. Have a great night. Stick around. We will speak to you again very soon.
Good day, then.
God bless. Thanks a lot. That was Chip Martin from Freedom on Deck. Make sure you go and check him out. Our first guest should be calling very soon. She is the producer of the Joe Messina Show. She is, of course, one of our regulars. She is Tammy Messina, who will be calling us any minute, live from the United States of America. Oh, yes, sirree. Russ says, is it time to push out those rhino Republicans and bring us back to the party of Barry Goldwater? Yes, in simple terms, Russ, it is. I didn't become a Republican in order for these rhinos to push me around. I became a Republican because of, oh, God, there's a spider on the wall in the studio, and I hate them. I'm such a big baby. Yes, I became a Republican to support Donald Trump, and I think that we should be effecting change in the party from within and making it evolve, whether rhinos like it or not. Yes, great call, Chet. And Xander is just chopped liver. I'm sorry, I'm just distracted by this huge spider that's on the wall, and as long as it's going away from me, I have a real phobia about them. What? Yes, so Tammy Messina will be calling in anytime. You're a bit far away to kill it for me, Nick. I've been trying to ignore them. I saw one in my bedroom, but I seem to live in Spiderville Towers, and once every couple of weeks, I get the vacuum cleaner out and get rid of all the cobwebs. And, I'm sure I'm breaking up a happy home, but who cares? Russ says he became a Republican after reading books on our great president, Calvin Coolidge. Great sentiment there. Carla says, Xander, I hate spiders too. And she also says she is a coward. Yeah, I am a coward too. When it comes to creepy crawlies and things like that. Lee is calling me a pussy. How dare you, dude? How dare you? I'll have you know. Yes. Chet says, seriously, this haven't even been talked about on Fox. These attacks need to be covered and not just in a fleeting moment. I don't think he means the spider attacks. I think he means the attacks on conservatives. If you keep getting kicked out of the live feed, please come back. We can't let Facebook win. So please join me in welcoming back to the show the one, the only, the fabulous, my good friend, Tammy Messina. Welcome back to the show, Tammy. Thanks for joining us.
I'm calling to help with the spider problem that you have.
I can't. It's on the ceiling now, and it's above me, and it's coming towards me. So if I do scream during the interview, you'll know it's not because of the subject matter. I just get that, ooh, get it away from me, kind of thing. So I'm gonna try and. Are you still there?
Yes, I am. You're coming in and out, so.
Somebody else was trying to call in, which I really don't get. Obviously, I'm doing an interview, so why would I be taking calls? So let's.
Well, you do have 10 lines, right?
110. 110, but I'm focusing my attention on you right now, Tammy, because you deserve it.
An eye on you, so.
Absolutely, I'm the spider. So we'll jump right in with our first question and our first topic, and hope we can be a little distracted away from this spider. Everybody's wondering why I keep looking to the right. So Nick Cannon's hateful speech and anti-Semitic theories have led to CBS cutting ties with the TV host and producer. They said it condemns bigotry of any kind and categorically denounces all forms of anti-Semitism when announcing its termination in its relationship with Cannon. So the Cannon got fired. Now the company, Darn this teleprompter. The company's move was in response to remarks made by Cannon on a podcast, which he and Richard Professor Griffith, the former Public Enemy #1 Radical Bias, which was a film last year and which was filmed last year and aired 2 weeks ago, where we had spoken to Cannon about the episode of the podcast. Cannon's class on YouTube, which promoted hateful speech and spread anti-Semitic conspiracy theories. Now, they said, while we support ongoing education and the dialogue and the fight against bigotry, we are deeply troubled that Nick just failed to acknowledge or apologize for perpetuating anti-Semitism. There was no immediate response for request for a comment from Cannon's representative through his website. Fox also did immediately respond to a request for a comment. In Cannon's Hour Plus podcast, he and Griffin contend that black people are the true Hebrews and that the Jews have usurped their identity. Cannon then goes into a discussion on skin color and damn teleprompter, and said, I'm going to say this carefully. He begins to allege that people who lack sufficient melanin are a little less. So what do we make of this? And is it like CBS to be so concerned when they're not bothered about discrimination in other forms?
Well, the first thing that popped in my head, the question I asked myself is, if it hadn't been anti-Semitic and it was just about white people, would they have been so concerned?
No.
I don't know. But you can correct me if I'm wrong, because you know probably more about Hollywood than I do, but weren't a lot of the studios Jewish-owned or run?
Yes.
Very heavy Jewish presence.
Yeah.
So how stupid a statement was that in the first place, even if it is his deeply personal held beliefs, just to say that sort of thing? I mean, is he just that tone deaf that he doesn't know who's in power there? And then secondly, I'm glad these people say stupid stuff like this. I want to know who the idiots are so I can avoid them.
Right.
So
Absolutely. I think there is
and I'm glad that there's an outcry about it. I think that that's a good thing, because, the Jewish people for sure, they don't need any trouble. They have had more than their fair share of trouble.
Yeah,
through the years. So
absolutely, they've been attacking my people for generations now.
Exactly.
The thing is, for me, I often wonder how some minorities think that it's okay to attack other minorities. And I see this quite a lot. I see it with the gays. I see it with the blacks. I don't see it so much with the Jews because, they just want to be left alone. But the concern for me is, like you say, with these people that are in the public eye, I get asked to go on a variety of shows and they want me to talk about various things. And if I can't go on and be myself and be honest, I'm not going to do that. So that really shows you that, when people tell you who they are, you have to kind of believe them, really.
Yeah, he is perfectly entitled to spew whatever he thinks is true, because clearly this is what he thinks is true. He tried to walk it back a little bit. I don't know if you saw his quote, when asked about it in response to it, but it was almost laughable based on what he said previously. But he says, I hold myself accountable for this moment and take full responsibility because my intentions are only to show that as a beautiful human species, we have way more commonalities than differences. I'm sorry, I didn't see that in there. And he also says, so let's embrace those as well as each other. We all family, he concluded. I didn't see that in any of that interview.
No.
So if that's what he thinks he was doing when he said those things, he's deluded.
Well, that's
let me
me.
ask you this. Do
Go
you
ahead.
think that he should have been fired?
I don't know. I'm a little torn. I think he should have been disciplined, and they could have used it as a teaching moment. But it's
right.
I think it's difficult because I think that on the right we are always so concerned about cancel culture, and
right.
We don't want to always cancel. If we're trying to silence people, the thing is that he's going to limit his work by having commentary of this ilk anyway. So surely,
Right.
market forces will ensue. But I don't like
Right.
this hating and firing and just because we disagree. I mean, what he said was wrong,
Right.
and I suppose you would classify it as racist. But I think it would have been a great teaching moment for CBS. But if he now attacked conservatives that had given him a key to the company bathroom and probably made him a director of the company.
Well, yeah, probably. So I agree with you about the firing thing, because I don't think people should be fired just because of their personal views. He didn't, as far as I heard, from what I heard of the interview, because I didn't listen to the whole thing, but he wasn't advocating violence on anyone. But on the flip side, I don't know what his contract said, and everybody who's in Hollywood's got a contract
Yeah.
of some sort. So, and even if they had said, okay, well, we're gonna, slap you on the wrist, you maybe give him a fine, whatever the punishment was,
Yeah.
the consequence, there's still going to be a backlash on CBS or VH1 or whatever. There would have been a backlash on them as a company from the people who didn't like what he said. So it was going to monetarily impact them, most likely. There were probably going to be, advertisers who were like, no, we're not
Yeah.
going to advertise on his show anymore.
Yeah.
So there are definitely some monetary consequences that might have led to the firing, but that was pretty darn quick for that to have happened. And they might have just been doing it preemptively. But, as an employee, you have to think about these things before you open your mouth as well and go, okay, so how's this gonna impact me?
Absolutely. And I think the other thing is as well, when you're freelance, when I come on your show, when I come on any show, there are some things that are kind of unwritten. And when you're a commentator, when you're asked for your opinion about any given subject, you have to have a little bit of decorum. I'm a comedian, but I know how far to go with my commentary, because people will not ask me back on the show again if I kind of go outside of those boundaries, and quite rightly so.
Right. Yeah, but don't you think that sometimes people, especially the celebrities, are in such an echo chamber that they don't even realize that what they're saying is outside the mainstream, or maybe not
Right.
even acceptable, because there's so many people kissing their boots all day long, just trying to prop them up and keep them moving, keep them going, keep them in the spotlight. You're great, you're wonderful, you're this.
Yeah.
Maybe they just don't even realize that there's another viewpoint out there.
No, absolutely. And I think that when your earning potential is affected by our commentary, it either makes you dig in your heels, or it makes you a little bit more careful. And let's hope it's the latter with Cannon, because Cannon can't keep getting fired. Boom, boom.
Yeah. That was a good one, Xander.
Yeah, I thought so too. So it's not a perfect segue, but talking of firing off, it's been 500 days since the New Green Deal failed to get a single vote on the Senate floor. Democrats, without even going back to the drawing board, have doubled their bet on the initiatives outlined in that disastrous $93 trillion proposal. This week, Sleepy Joe Biden made a desperate attempt to revive it and has the Build Back the Better plan for equitable green energy for the future, which includes spending $2 trillion for the next 4 years to dramatically eliminate fossil fuels, turn the energy industry on its head, and eliminate hundreds and thousands of jobs, all while magically transforming the American blue-collar economy into a green economy. Do we need more evidence that the Democrats have abandoned the hardworking men and women of America? Look no further than Biden's out-of-touch energy plan. He's also calling for emission-free power grid by 2035, an entire decade ahead of California's extremely radical plan for 100% clean electricity power by 2045. But is any of this actually being realistic, Tammy?
Okay, so are you saying that our government is going to be able to implement this excellent green new energy plan and all these jobs better than the free market? Yeah,
No.
not realistic.
No,
when
I'm
has
saying
the government ever
they're
done
saying that.
anything realistic?
Yeah, I'm saying they're saying that, not me. And obviously
I know.
my tone is indicative of the fact that I'm like, oh yeah?
No, anything that the government says that they're going to do like this, this is like healthcare on steroids. This
Yeah.
is horrible. It's not going to work. I mean, they already demolished the healthcare system.
Exactly.
And didn't Obama-Biden administration have a pretty hefty push towards all these green companies? And
Yeah.
how many of them are still solvent, do you think? I'd love to see a study on that. I
Well-
should have looked for that.
Well, a part two of that for me is what about all of those companies that got money to be more green and never actually fulfilled it? So when are we getting that back
Right.
to put back into the economy?
Yeah.
The money that was given out erroneously to those companies.
Or the ones that went completely belly up and didn't even survive at all.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Absolutely. I think that, I don't know. For me, I want us to try and be better. I want us to try and be greener, but we have to be realistic about it. And there isn't even any mention in the plan, this is what really jumped out at me, of trying to initiate a way for all of those that work in the coal industry and other energy industries to try and turn their jobs into more greener jobs. There was no ideology for the American worker in any way, shape, or form. But this is typical of the Democrats.
Oh, no, but there was, Xander. The key word is union. Union. That's where it's all provided for, is everybody's got to be in the union. So they're going to take care of the union workers, not those other people.
Right. But that doesn't cover everybody, does it? That's just a small proportion of the workforce.
Besides, those coal people, they don't matter.
Well, that's a worry to me. They don't matter, but their efforts are making sure that we're staying warm and that we've got electricity, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, I know.
And whilst we should be looking for greener ways to do these things, it's not going to happen overnight.
Right, and does it need to be the government pushing it? I mean, isn't the free market the thing that really needs to drive this?
Yeah, of course.
So far, a lot of the green technologies have not been economical.
No, because even the ideology of solar panels is great. I know Ronald Reagan, not Ronald Reagan. I'm sorry. God, what's his name? The actor from Dallas. Whose name escapes me anyway. He built like a small village and he put all the solar power in. But Larry Hagman. But one of the things that he found was that the solar power panels themselves are not renewable and end up in a landfill somewhere. So there are byproducts that are still harmful to the environment. So it's not a perfect science, is it?
No, definitely not. And it's not well thought out, which, duh.
Yeah.
That's where it's coming from. And when it comes to Biden, for him to come out with all this pie in the sky stuff, first of all, we know it's not him. There's not enough bandwidth in that brain for him to be able to put out anything.
No.
But let's just say it is, and his team, they haven't thought this through.
No.
And how is he going to look at people sincerely and go, yeah, I could have done this over the last 40 years. I could have been the champion of this, but I wasn't.
Yeah. Well, I
can do it now, but my brain doesn't work.
He was too busy oppressing minorities and referring to them as Negroes. So how can you do that and, make the country a greener concern,
So many women, so many necks to sniff.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So much hair to sniff, which is a great point to leave it before we get sued. I don't care. Let them sue me. I ain't got anything anyway. So a percentage of nothing is still nothing. Tell people where they can find you, Tammy, and where they can listen to the show. But it's always a pleasure to talk to you.
Okay, Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Pacific time on therealside.com. I would shoot you over to social media because we try and stay on there, but they keep shutting us down. So just go to our website. We have a chat room there. All the links to Facebook, Twitter, all that other stuff, they're out there too. And if they haven't shut us down, then the links will still work. So there you go.
Absolutely. And if not, you can find everything at therealside.com. But be sure to check out the Joe Messina Show. And you will see me there quite often. But for now, thank you so much to my wonderful friend, Tammy Messina. Have a wonderful week and God bless you.
Thanks, Xander.
Thanks a lot. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. That was Tammy Messina, producer from The Real Side. Make sure you go and check out The Real Side and tell them that I sent you. Oh, yes, siree. There you go. So my next guest is a congressional candidate and good friend to the show. She is Alla Hawatma, who is going to be joining us very soon from New York State, I believe. Alla's experience of mail-in voting recently, American Greatness, very graciously brought Alla Hawatma's campaign to Congress to national attention. She was the apparent winner in the primary election for the Republican nomination for the United States Congress for the 19th District of New York, the region of the Catskills on the Hudson River Valley below Albany. She won the votes that were cast in person, either on election day itself or through in-person voting at the election board offices, and her margin of victory of those was about 5%. It's unusual for absentee ballots to reverse. It's unusual for absentee ballots to reverse an outcome with such a margin. What is happening now is because of mailing voting, much more unusual. And it is a preposterous. She's going to be calling us any minute to tell us a bit more about that and highlight some of the things that President Donald Trump has been saying about the dangers of mail-in voting. Dave said he eats corn pops, but does he feed them to his goat? That's what I want to know. Chet says they are the bomb. The old school sniffer in chief. Yeah. Can you imagine how concerning it would be if this guy won? I mean, I wonder what his first act would be as president. I vow today that everybody will have to have their hair sniffed by me on a regular basis. I'm Joe Pesci, and I approve this message. I mean, I still can't get over the fact that they're still wheeling this guy out there from his basement. And the concern is for me that it's sad when you think about it, that they're allowing this kind of thing to happen. And if it were my dad, they were doing this too. I would certainly have something to say. But when you have a son like, I don't know, say Hunter Biden, who, sleeps with his dead brother's wife and takes cocaine and takes bribes from Burisma and gets paid for a job that he's not actually doing in exchange for money laundering services in the United States, it is rather a concern. We are just waiting for Alla to call us live from the United States of America, God's own land. It's interesting when you actually think about how much propaganda, anti-Trump propaganda is out there right now. It actually scares me when I think about how stupid some people are in actually believing it. It really does worry me somewhat. I've been on TikTok kind of responding to some of this idiocy. And they don't like it when you're blunt with them. They can say what they like about the president. But if you say something back, they really don't like it and they report you for it. My byline is about, I always say, I can see your lobotomy scar in your picture, and they hate that. I haven't been lobotomized. This is a scar from when I had my accident when my mother dropped me on my head when I was a child. So yeah, that's a great line. Nick says, when I reduce the screen to browse the internet, the video is a few seconds ahead of the live feed. What are you going to do, Nick? I don't know. So please join me. Please join me in welcoming back to the show, the one, the only, the fabulous Alla Hawatma. Welcome back to the show, Alla. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me on.
It's always a pleasure. Now, I just gave a little bit of background about your experiences, but I want to go back a little. First of all, tell us when are you actually gonna get the official results? Because I know that you're the person that's running against you is already telling people he's won, even though there's been no official announcement, which seems odd to me.
It's very odd. It's just everyone's confused. What's happening is Kyle, my opponent, is putting out on his Facebook and press releases that he won. However, the Board of Election Committee, they have not posted anything on their site. Nothing is official. In fact, it still says on their site that I'm ahead. So it's kind of, it is what it is. I was 5 points. I had 500 votes over him during the primary on the 23rd, and then the absentee ballot, it was a different story.
Right. But there's clearly...
They said they had a...
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, they said they had a few absentee ballots, and they said 7,000. 7,000 turned into 10,400, which they read in 7.5 hours. And by what I was told, signatures weren't being checked, and the ballots were outside of the envelope.
Wow. So there are.
Exactly.
So you do suspect major violations of the election laws, which has been highlighted, I think, by the fact that the U.S. Postal Service has got piles of ballots just kind of sitting in their stations. So you can't tell me that they are safe and tamper-proof.
Well, exactly. It's just, again, a lot of confusion, a lot of people in the district asking questions. They really, it's hard when you see the numbers shift from me being 5% over him to him being like 38-40%
right.
lead with absentee ballots.
And this is not kind of like bitterness on your part. It's actually a concern with regards to the fact that mail-in ballots are kind of like widely and predominantly used, which highlights the commentary that President Donald Trump has been making about the dangers of mail-in voting, does it not?
Exactly. Yes, it is. And I sent a letter to the Attorney General, to Mr. Barr, and I know American Greatness published that letter.
Right.
And so we will see what happens, and hopefully the Board of Elections will make it clear the announcement so that if my opponent's the winner, then someone the official number was supposed to be out on the 13th. Okay, it's
right.
late. Nothing has been said.
But isn't that even more fishy? And didn't I read that your opponent had not even been around? He'd been off, doing stuff in the Navy
exactly.
or the Army or something.
No one knows of him. He hasn't been campaigning. No one knows of him. No one has heard of him, and they say that money isn't an issue, but money is. When you're running a campaign, you do need money.
Right.
And I know his finances. He has less than 20,000 now. I think he has 2,400 or something like that. But it's going to be hard to win someone that has $4 million with 2,400.
Wow. So some districts have already kind of concluded the winners, haven't they? So why is things still outstanding with your district?
Well, it's interesting. That's what I want to know, and that's what a lot of people want to know as well. What's taking it so long? A lot of reporters are calling me asking questions. People want to know.
Yeah,
What's going on?
absolutely.
Why are the absentee ballot numbers changing? And Gina Loudon had me on the show, America's Voice, like 2 days after, and she says, this isn't right. Political analysts have looked at the numbers and they say, in one county, you had 500 votes more than him. And then absentee ballots, it was the other way around, which makes no sense. So there were a lot of just questions and red flags, and people that went in and actually watched the people counting, the Board of Elections counting the ballots. The process, there was just a couple of red flags.
Right, absolutely. So have you had a response from Attorney General Barr? And if not, when do you expect that you'll get some confirmation of the fact that this is being looked into?
It is being looked into. That is why the Board of Elections haven't released any numbers. That's why I was surprised when my candidate put it out there, just because New York Times has the numbers, and I don't know who's feeding New York Times the numbers. And that's just, I don't know where they're getting their numbers from. Someone from the Board of Election. Another red flag is, while they were counting the ballots, one county in the district was calling another county saying, anyone that questions Ola's ballots, tell them not to because she dropped out, which was false.
Wow. So, but this kind of reads into some of you. Weren't you bullied during this process?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, a lot of people trying to get me to drop out, and I just won't give up on the district.
Right. And they tried to smear you as a foreigner. I mean, you're an American citizen. Your family are from Jordan. So how? But your family been in this country for a long time, haven't they?
Over 40 years, the legal way.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. The only true way to become an American citizen if you're not born in the country. Tell us some of the forms of bullying that were used against you.
I'm sorry, repeat that question.
Tell us some of the ways that you were bullied during this process.
Oh, the ways I was forced to. They wanted me to drop out. Independent party. I won't say his name, but told me, you name the price to drop out.
So they were trying to bribe you to drop out also? Wow. Isn't that a federal crime?
It is. We will get you a job at the White House,
Wow.
name your price, and I'll make a phone call to Nick Langworthy. And I was also being told, we'll call, Ed Cox and offer you something. Just, from the beginning, and I just refused to because I looked at the big picture. People in the district it's not fair to them.
Right.
It's not fair to them.
Right. And you were born in the United States, weren't you?
I was born and raised in New York, and my opponent and his people spread the rumor that I was born in Jordan and don't vote for anyone that wasn't born in the country.
Right.
So someone had written that she wasn't born in the country, don't vote for her. And so someone said, I will not vote for anyone that was born in Jordan. And how can immigrants make so much money? Which is, do you really want a representative? Do you really want someone in Congress that are teaching his followers and putting this in their heads? A. B, that's not even out there actually talking to the people, responding to people.
Wow.
People need compassion. People need to be, they need to hear from the candidate. They need to know where you stand on issues.
Of course. But doesn't this highlight for you why there was so much concern with regards to the November election? If this is what's happening on the local level, what the hell is going to happen in November on a national level?
That's exactly my point, and that's what I brought to the White House attention. I brought that to the political director's attention and the White House attention, that it's not even about my campaign. It's, you look at the big picture, this is what's going to happen in November, and this is the way that our president, God forbid, will lose.
Right.
And it will be a shame if they do not take it seriously.
Right.
This is serious.
See, maybe
you
would have
had a 5% lead,
right,
and now all of a sudden he has, his lead is, he has 7,300 absentee, and I only have 3,000.
wow.
It doesn't make sense.
See, maybe you would have garnered a lot more respect, Ola, if your parents had come in as illegal immigrants, and you'd been born in another country too, because they would have probably built you a statue by now on the left, if that were the case, which I think is particularly sad. Which highlights to me that the left has no respect for people doing things in the right way.
Exactly. Absolutely.
Absolutely, indeed.
No, I agree with you.
We gotta leave it there, Ola. But I hope I've been keeping an eye out to try and see when the results are going to be published, but there's nothing out there. So I hope you'll keep us in touch with when you actually get the final.
I definitely will. Again, they were supposed to be out on the 13th, and everyone's numbers are out except for our district.
Yeah. And
there's a lot of just people questioning. They want to know.
It's an absolute worry. So if you do live in Ola's district, lobby your local government and tell them how concerned you are about this. We got to leave it there, but you can check Ola out at olaforcongress.com, and you can check her out on Facebook too. Thank you so much for joining us today, Ola Hawatma. I hope this works out well for you, Ola, and that next time you come on the show, you will be a representative for your district.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, Ola. Take care. Lots of love.
Likewise.
Bye-bye. And that was Ola Hawatma, olaforcongress.com. Make sure you check her out. Check quite rightly says it doesn't matter where you were born to run for representative. It just doesn't, you're not allowed to run for president if you weren't born in the country. Thanks to everyone who has made today's show possible. Thanks to everyone in the live feed. Thanks to my good friend Chet Martin for calling in. Thank you to Tammy Messina from the Real Side and Ola Hawatma, congressional candidate. Not had your fill of the Gibster. You can check me out 5 nights a week, 5 Pacific, 7 Central, 8 Eastern, 1 in the UK, and 10 a.m. next day in Australia. Join us tomorrow for more scintillating chat when CV Burton joins us. Thank you so much for all the love. Go and click the share button. Go and check out the Xander Gibb Show page and give that a like too. Show your support. I really do love you all. We will be back with you tomorrow, same time, same place. I've been Xander Gibb. Good night.
It has been good to me this time around. Things were ever bound to change when it was found. Sugar never tasted sweeter on my lips. My heart is now intact, and I can find no ribs. This is love, yeah, love. Never known true love before. Seen so many counterfeits that left me on the floor. This is love, yeah, love. All will come to those who wait. Time it cannot know the bounds, and era don't dictate.
Click the bell button and subscribe to keep up with the Xander Gibb Show.